Good morning. These are my reflections on the readings at the beginning of Lent, this first Sunday of Lent. There is a wild, dangerous, untamed, and chaotic nature to God. The passages from the Bible both deal with an unpredictable God, an impulsive, overwhelming, and unknowable presence in and through everything. It's hard to imagine yourself into these readings without being overwhelmed. There's something about conflict or conflicting thought, something about struggle with others and within your own heart, something about the confusion and uncertainty of swirling chaos in which you come to the point of saying, "Enough! I will go this way." And you may never know whether this was the best decision or how many other decisions you could have made, but this you dig your heels in and commit to. It is the choice you made. You are my son, my beloved, my child, with whom I am well pleased. And the Spirit immediately drove Jesus into the wilderness. He was in the wilderness 40 days, tempted by Satan, and he was with the wild beasts, and the angels waited on him. Jesus hears a huge affirmation from God. In the movies, when someone says they love you, there's nice music swelling and joy, and you walk into a radiant sunset of a life happily ever after. But Jesus is plunged into the equivalent of the windswept tundra of Canada. It's inhospitable, a danger of environment, a danger of predators. Yet somehow Jesus gets through, not by his own cleverness and resourcefulness, but by stumbling upon food or water just in time, as if it had been left there for him, as if, unseen, he is being watched over and given just enough, and he has no control over his survival, caught between angels and wild beasts. Christianity is mostly a domesticated faith, a gentle Jesus, meek and mild. The King of love, my shepherd is. But as we enter Lent, there is a warning. Walk into this wilderness and you won't come out unchanged or even undamaged. Most of us live cushioned lives. I like our healthcare system, my pension plan, our savings squirreled away from earnings over decades. I like fire insurance. I like these and other things that cushion me from the bumps of life. I like the ambulance crew that picked me up out of a ditch when a deer in BC knocked me off my motorbike. And I almost liked the physio-terrorist whose torturing manipulation straightened my ripped muscles back into place. I've had not a few occasions where the cushions have helped. But Noah's story, passed on by word of mouth, reciting from about 12,000 years ago, and then written down maybe only 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. This story is catastrophic. This is one of many stories that were recited around a campfire. This is one, the truth of which made it continuously handed down. Why was it memorized? Why honored? Why retold over countless generations? Why written down? Why kept? Because it rings true. The danger is that when we have a domesticated life, where all the risks are taken care of to a considerable degree, but maybe not a complete degree, we live in safety and we have forgotten the wilderness. The teaching of Lent is that we have a soul as well as a body. Most of what I have said applies to our physical health, but as well as being patients in healthcare countries, we are souls and spirits. Someone once said that the body is a container of the soul, or 2 shillings and 6pence worth of chemicals, and that catches it nicely. Lent invites you to strip away some of the body's comforts. Stop pandering the container of your spirit, and then step into the wilderness, away from the safety, from the comfort of our constructed society. The fast of Lent is about stepping a little out of the house of safety. I don't mean a Lenten discipline is to walk out in traffic without looking. I mean it is about removing a few of the buffers, the treats, the rewards, the distractions, and the little sleeping pills of life. On the first day of Lent, I experienced the loss of coffee. And in fact, all this week. This is a small beginning. In Canadian measures, I drink around 6 cups of strong coffee a day. It has been like losing a dear friend. I keep turning around for my mug. It lubricates the little frustrations and boredoms. To answer to many a need is, for me, a cup of coffee. Just in this first week, I am looking for my mug like a baby looks around for a soother to suck and drift back to sleep. Caffeine is a stimulant, but it puts other parts of me to sleep. Without that coffee, I find myself thinking, am I happy or sad or anxious and just paying attention to the tiny little threads of mood that run through my life. Even the removal of a relatively small thing, you find yourself asking, in a very surface way, about the discontent, the boredom, that guilt or emptiness of your soul. Removing the distraction of TV, of a comforting novel, a work of fiction that allows you to escape your own reality, a glass of alcohol, an hour or more of TV. Remove those and you are left to yourself. Without our comforters, soothers and blankies, we are in the wilderness of nowhere and with no way to get out of anything, no place to get away to. You are alone with God. You are alone with yourself, and the lights are all on. Noah is beyond his safe zone in this story. It would not be surprising if he had jumped. The sounds of the caged animals roaring in hunger, squealing in fear, the endless feeding and cleaning and anxiety. But Noah stuck with the task he had been given. Instead of thinking of all the things he would rather have been doing or asking, why me? Why me? In self-pity. Perhaps it is that Noah is stuck with the deprivations of the ark, the endless hard slog of the work and the hopeless hope of finding land, that God blessed him with a promise that it would never happen again. God blessed him that one day he and his family and all these animals would walk on dry land, rejoicing, standing there with the animals streaming off the ark going past him. Jesus' story, another wilderness, wildness, uncontrolled story, is the same but the other way around. A voice came from heaven. You are my son, my beloved. With you I am well pleased. And the Spirit immediately drove him out into the wilderness. He was in the wilderness 40 days, tempted by Satan. And he was with wild beasts, and angels waited on him. Not as a punishment, but as a grounding. It's here that Jesus hears the profound truths. Beloved, I am well pleased. And then he has nothing but these to get him through 40 days alone in the wilds. And being unsupported, open to doubts, to uncertainties, the temptation is to say, what? God, I'm stuck here. I'm in the wilderness. We had this great moment. Why don't you come and save me? Why aren't you here for me like you promised? I can't do this. It's too hard. I can't even get a cup of coffee. Some God you are. I need you now. And where are you, eh? And what's this? Angel cake? Ugh, I hate angel cake. Lent is about joining Noah and Jesus as they keep on going through the lousiness of ordinary life without treats or rewards or escape routes. It is about staying home, not having parties, not going shopping. It is about putting yourself in a quiet place for 30 minutes, more or less, each day. No distractions, no coffee, no moving around the room. Just being still with the reading of the passage of the gospel that you've chosen to read through, a chapter or two at a time, not more. You look at the reading, imagining that you are there, and you notice how lacking in distractions and entertainment life was then. Just be there, as in this moment, as you sit. And you notice the thoughts that swing through your mind. You notice them. You watch them go past, but you don't pick them up. You don't play with them. You just notice them and say, yes, grocery shopping list, and you let it go. And I'm so angry with F or G or... No, you let that go. And I'm getting bored, you say, and you notice it, and you let it go. Eventually you get to, I'm lonely. I wish someone loved me. I never had enough time for my mother before she died. Am I a good person? Do I hide from life? Why didn't I do that good thing that I always wanted to do? These are the noises of the animals in your ark, whispering in God's name to you. Sometimes these are the demons saying, oh, for Pete's sake, have a cup of coffee and stop fretting. Or, this won't work. You're no good at being good. Oh, forget this prayer stuff. The demon says, the newspaper, over there. I can read the headlines. Why don't you look? And, was that your cell phone buzzing? You should check it. Our God needs silence of heart and mind if we are to hear the utterly personal love that is being whispered into our souls. Our souls need silence of heart and mind to hear the demons and to name their distractions as demonic. We need to still our chattering monologues so that we can find the stillness in which to say to God, God, let me trust you, please. God, let me hear you. Help me to make these spaces for us to be together. Thank you, Jesus, for being with me, loving me, and trying to open my heart to being loved. This is the first week of Lent. Make a beginning. Walk into the wilderness. Don't be chased away by dark fears or guilt. Listen for God speaking into your thoughts. Slow your mind down. Think slowly enough to let God get a word in edgeways. Listen for the whisper of the Spirit. God will come if you ask. The work for us is to be still, to listen, to open a space of silence and make as little noise as we can. May your Lent be blessed.